so nice to see
I know
you.
I look pretty close to what my pictures are. The glasses. That's why I
I
always
love
ask you about your glasses. 'Cause I'm a
I
fellow specs wearer, so I look
Oh,
good.
I love it. So nice to see you.
Hi,
Okay.
everyone.
So tell us your name if you want to. Tell us your
Yeah. Oh,
name,
yeah.
your story from the beginning, and then we'll go from there.
Totally. So I go by Lawyer Mom, which you know, because I actually am a lawyer IRL. In real life, I am. It's not a pretend name. But my real name is Ronnie, and I'm from California. So I actually am up pretty early. I listen to you right after my morning workout, which I love because I get to do the workout and then it keeps me motivated coming to watch you. But honestly, AJ, there are a lot of GLP support lives because that's what I feel like it is. You're really giving support to people and making them feel, comfortable. So that's why it really attracted me to your live and just you're so fun and so cute. And I was just like, oh my God. And then I found out that we were close in age when you said what your age was. I'm 52.
Okay.
So there was so many things that drew me to your life. So that's kind of why I started watching it very faithfully.
That's very sweet. Thank you for that. So tell us, lawyer mom, your struggles. Tell us from the beginning. Like what's up with you?
Yeah, so I've been heavy pretty much my whole life. I started gaining weight in about third grade, and I'm the youngest kid of five, and I'm first generation from an immigrant family. I was born and raised in the city. I'm in California, so I'm West Coast. And my dad owned a deli when we were growing up. So I think it kind of started there, like just being very comfortable with eating food and snacking and going to the deli after school and helping out and then like eating candy bars while I was playing video games, right? So it was very natural. I also, again, growing up in an immigrant family, my dad had a lot of food insecurity. So the message at home was finish your whole plate.
Hmm.
Don't there's starving children in the world and you're leaving a speck of rice on the table. And so I think my mentality and my portion control issues were probably starting at a very, very young age. And so as the years went on, I didn't grow in height, but I grew in weight. And so it's funny, I'm the youngest of five and the shortest of five. So I only am about 5'2". I'm pretty slight. And by sixth grade, I was well over 150 pounds, which was pretty big for a sixth grader of my height. Not huge, but I was definitely bigger. And then as high school approached, I continued to gain weight, and I also had an older sister who was 1 year older than me, and for lack of a better term, had a banging body. And
Hmm.
so that was even harder because she wasn't overweight and I was. And people would always say, your sister's so cute. What happened to you? Right. So it was already happening in real time.
Hmm.
And so I already had those mind games with me. So I was fighting the statements of my parents, which is like, don't waste food, all those things. And then versus what was out in the media. And back then I was probably lucky there was no social media. I may have even been worse off. I'm a born in the 70s, child of the 80s,
Hmm.
and in high school by early 90s. So I continued to gain weight, but then about 10th grade, my older sister, who also had some weight issues, was on Weight Watchers, and that was when Weight Watchers was in, or WW was in its infancy. And so I kind of followed that plan, even though I couldn't officially be on it because I was under 18. And that summer between 10th and 11th grade, I lost weight. But I never enjoyed losing weight. If
Hmm.
if that if that if that makes sense, I it probably does to you, AJ. But I always felt like it was a struggle. I always felt like I was white knuckling it, right? It never was like made me feel happy. It made me feel happy in the short term, but never in the long term. And so I struggled to have my weight up and down. I was actually a college athlete. I rode in college, but I was always having to like cut weight, almost starve myself, make sure that I stayed within range because I was actually a rower. I was a crew member,
Mm.
and you had to have a certain weight for the boat. And so I was always the one that was fighting to stay under a certain weight. And so I actually dropped to about 118 in my early 20s. I was pretty low because I was an athlete. But again, as soon as anything stressful happened, I would gain weight. And that's what happened. When I went to law school, it was very, very stressful. And I gained about 40 pounds very quickly. And I was still in my early 20s. So getting through my 20s, up and down in weight, I met my now husband of 22 years. And I wanted to look great in my wedding dress, of course. The other motivation for both a lot of women.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so then I lost about 30, 40 pounds to get married. And then I had my first child in 2006, and then it was just done. And then I never saw the Wonderland for the next 20 plus years. And at my height, and I don't mean in height in my tallness, I mean height of my weight, not pregnant, I was 252. So pretty big for somebody as tiny as I am as far as stature. And about 2 years ago, I started hearing GLP-1 conversations. And I was really scared, honestly, AJ. I didn't think that I wanted to, quote unquote, inject myself with anything.
Yeah.
And I'm not on any kind of medication. I was one of those lucky people that even though I was significantly overweight, I always worked out. So it kind of kept everything at bay. Like my A1C was high, but not high enough for insulin. My blood pressure was elevated, but not high enough. My good cholesterol and bad cholesterol were close, but borderline, right? It was almost like I was playing Russian roulette with my health. And then my sister, God bless her, the skinny, the banging body one, who still has a pretty banging body. She's 1 year older than me. She's a nurse practitioner and she's a heart specialist. And she said, Ronnie, you are going to be worse off if you don't do something about it than if you do. And hearing it from her and telling her it's okay, telling me it's okay, and her being a nurse, it was so impactful. It was so impactful because I felt like she would never do something to risk me. She would never tell me and encourage me. She said, Ronnie, GLP-1s can change your life. Because she knew I had the discipline, AJ, of like an athlete. She knew I was disciplined as a trial lawyer. I actually am a prosecutor by trade. So when we talk about lawyer, I'm in the craziest kind of law. I do criminal prosecution for a DA's office for over 2 decades. So I was taking care of victims.
Yeah.
I was taking care of others, but I wasn't taking care of myself. And she said, you got to do this for you, Ronnie. This is the one thing. This is the one thing that has been your Achilles heel. And I swear to you, if you do it, I know you can be successful because I know who you are. And I just took it by the horns. And you've been amazing, AJ. I mean, you knew that I had a stall for 4 or 5 months, and I know it was coming on a lot of days. I was watching your posts. But you also make it feel okay to talk about it because the second part of this is there's a lot of shame associated with getting help. And I'm really sad about that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my story, and that's where I am. And I'm down 80 pounds, and I have 20 to go.
God,
So,
that's so cool. Thank you for sharing. You're a badass. I'll tell you that right now.
well, you are. I mean,
So let's see. Was your parents overweight at all?
so my dad had some weight issues, and I would say my mom did, but not like significantly. But my dad had diabetes diagnosed at 40, and he had his first heart bypass at 45. So he changed his entire lifestyle. But those bad habits were already ingrained in us, AJ. So like we ended up being heavier than my parents because they kind of implemented bad habits. But then my dad had a health scare. My mother got healthy right after retirement. She was very thin throughout her whole life. She was heavy from the kids, but even at her height, she was like 160, which was heavy for her, but not significantly. And then when she retired, she got very healthy because she didn't have all the other responsibilities of raising 5 kids. And I'm one of 5, so big family.
Yeah.
So they had weight issues, but I always think about this. They definitely had a bad relationship with food. Even though they didn't have significant weight issues, they didn't have a healthy mindset about your relationship with eating. And now that I look back on it and all these little weird micro stories that I have, I very much realize that they didn't teach us probably the good values associated with eating. And they're amazing, right? My parents are great. 93 and 83, they're still kicking.
My God.
Been
It's
married
that
52
salami,
years.
isn't it? It's that salami.
It is. It's the deli salami and the bread and it's that
So
deli
so let's
salami.
let's get back to that because
Yeah.
they're products of their whatever, right?
Upbringing. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more if you don't mind. I love it. So where are you guys all from? Like, and their parents, I'm sure, everything is about around food, especially, I'm
Yes.
sure why they
So
even got
my
into that
yeah.
business.
So my dad is Indian. So
Okay.
by culture, lots of celebrations, lots of eating, and quite frankly, Indian food can be really rich. My
Yeah.
mother my mother's German. She was here. She's American. My dad met her here when he was here for college. But interestingly enough, my mother used to talk about this, and I think this was her first relationship with food. Two key factors, I think, related to my mom and food. One, she had a 400-pound German grandmother who used to cook for her.
That's what I'm
There's number
saying.
one. Yes. So there's number one. And number two, her mother was bulimic. And my mom didn't realize what that was early in the life, but she would see her mother go to the bathroom all the time after meals. But she didn't put two and two together until she was older. So my mother saw that food dysfunction, for lack of a better term, swirling around her whole life. But I don't think she associated with it. And then she had a lot of trauma. She was a child of divorce. Her stepfather was very cruel to her. There were so many factors, AJ,
So
that kind of led to her.
you can see how environment
Yes,
plays a huge role as well. And we can't forget that. Yes, our biology, but also our environment.
yes.
And
That
so
nature
here,
versus nurture argument. Absolutely.
absolutely. So here's your mom seeing who she loves, her grandmother, and it's part of her comfort having her sweet, heavy grandmother make these beautiful, rich foods. And it's part of what you remember as a good thing in your childhood and you take it with you. And then you
Yeah.
have your mother who is dealing with her own situation and you see, this isn't right. This is weird, whatever. This is normal. I don't know. And so you have those two complex things roaring with each other to create this perfect storm that trickles down to how she, I'm sure, trains you guys up or whatever, right? And then you meet dad, who is all into this. So yeah, it's very complex. It is interesting, I
It
think.
is.
Wow. So you have the five kiddos, or you don't, but you're with the five kiddos, right? You're the smallest, and you've talked about your sister. How did everyone else do? What did you
Um,
see? Like, how was that?
four out of five of us have weight issues. My brother up and down in weight, but he was a football player and a fencer and a wrestler. So again, big athletes in our family, but big food issues. My two older sisters both had significant food issues. And actually, in our earlier life, my dad would tell us to eat everything on our plate. But then, unfortunately, he would tell us we had to weigh ourselves weekly to make sure that we weren't gaining weight. So there's a lot of mixed messages in our house. And that comes from my father's immigrant background, Indian background, where superficial aspects of you are very important because in his mind, he was an Indian man coming to America with four daughters, and in his mind, he needed us to look beautiful so that we could get a suitor later on. So we also had that horrible East meets West dependence on the patriarchal. I mean, I can go, I mean, we could talk hours, man. I could tell you about all this and unpack it,
Well,
but
I love
this
that
is
we're
why.
talking
Yeah.
about this. I love that because this doesn't get talked about here. And I
No.
know this is not, you're not the only one here listening to this in
Yeah.
some sort of fashion can relate to this situation, right? Where their parents are trying their best in their imperfect way
Yeah.
and there are issues that they've had before to lead you in the right, proper way of success. When in
Yeah.
reality, it messes with us, right? So,
Yes.
oh my God. Yeah. So, with the siblings, how was that dynamic growing up, right? Because you have that one sister with a banging body, but the rest of you guys maybe struggled. Like, how was that dynamic? Did you guys?
I think I didn't have jealousy over her, but I think my older two sisters kind of were like, wow. And then the older two sisters, they had some competition because,
Wait a
whoever
minute,
was looking the best.
five girls?
No, so one boy, four girls. It was pretty, yeah.
Oi,
Can I say rear?
yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot. And you could see I'm pretty lively. So there's four of us. Like
Yeah.
But we're all also very kick-ass, like in our lives. Like one of my sisters is vice chancellor at a big university. The second one was the vice president of American Heart. My other sister's the head of cardiac care, and I'm a lawyer. So it's like my parents raised us to be strong and tough and like fantastic. But this is like an Achilles heel for all of us. Because even the one with the banging body, she still struggles with the neuroscience part of the brain that has she has dysfunctional eating.
Oh
She just
yeah.
hasn't been as impacted by, she's not completely cured of all the things my parents instilled in us. She just happens to be able to keep the weight at bay
Yeah.
more than we ever did.
Isn't that interesting? We've talked about this before. I know many people here that are smart and intelligent and successful in their careers and life, but this is the one thing they've never been able to do. And it's like it can beat you up because you think it's your fault. You think you don't have the willpower to do this, but for some reason you could be a successful lawyer, and it just shows you it's not about that, right? It's unfortunate. And that's why we have to remember that this is a disease, guys. This is something that we have to have help with, and it's not your guys' fault.
In the
I think,
last few weeks, yeah, in the last few weeks, AJ, I have to tell you, we've had a lot of emotional stuff going on. We're caring for my parents. I had a friend die about 2 months ago, one of my best friends who passed away from cancer. My across the street neighbor now has cancer. I've been helping care for her because her adult son lives far away. And I've gone back to those opening the cupboard late at night, right? Those habitual, those
mhm.
habits, regardless of what your food noise says. This is the fight now where the habit comes creeping back in, GLP-1 or not, working out or not. I could be getting up at 4:30 in the morning every day, because I'm West Coast, so I'm a little bit of a crazy baddie, and I get up at 4:30 to do my workout before I come see your beautiful face and see what the cute top of the day is.
Oh my God.
Um,
Hey, at least I
but
have a top on,
if it was going to be that kind of interview, I might have not said.
Well, it doesn't matter because my boobs are on the floor anyway.
Yeah.
So whatever.
but
Um,
but you know what I'm saying? So those habits, right? This is a lifelong journey. It's a
yeah.
lifelong fight. It's
Well,
not something that just magically goes away, even with the weight loss.
and
It's
we
all the
have
stuff
those
that comes
life
with it.
stressors that are going to come and hit us, right? We're going to have sickness and death and trauma and drama, and that's part of it that we have to navigate. But also be okay with it too. Like, I hope you don't beat yourself up over it by going to the cupboard late at night because your friend passed away. I
Yeah,
hope you're not.
I'm not. I have to tell you one thing, AJ, through your help, through Jamie's. I listen to both of the Jamies. You know that. You guys are
Yeah.
my top three. You're
Yeah.
on you're on you're on rotation every day. I always pop in. Um, you guys have helped so many people navigate the daily struggles.
Yeah.
And like even your trip to Scotland when you were able to
Mm.
pop in a couple of days, it was so awesome. It was so great to see you living your best life. It's so fantastic. Like, how did this how was your amazing self trapped in your former body? I can't
Mm.
even imagine, AJ, how you felt. You're just
Yeah.
so fantastic.
Well,
And,
you're
and so
sweet.
I mean, I have to say that. I have to say that. And there has to be more people like you making people like me feel okay and not ashamed. I was very scared, AJ, to tell people I was on GLP-1. And I was like, why the fuck am I? Oh, can I say sorry, F bomb? Why am I afraid
Yeah.
to say that? Why am I like so ashamed that I need help? If I was diabetic, would I white knuckle it and not take insulin? I mean, are you kidding me? It's wild. It's wild.
And I mean, you're not alone. There are millions of people that feel the same way. So I think I appreciate you saying that. I'm just like everyone else, just using this moment to come on here and hang out. But that's the point. We want people to know that it's okay and you don't have to be ashamed about it, right? It's a disease just like anything else. And I appreciate you saying that about Scotland. I feel bad sometimes doing it because I don't want people to feel bad about not being able to go somewhere if they want to, right? But I have to be authentic to myself and be like, listen, I was trapped in this body. And I was trapped in this body, and I want to be able to live my life. And I want to show this not because I'm trying to show off, but I want to show this because I want you to know that you're able to do these things too, if you can. Not in Scotland, maybe, But wherever you can move your body in a way that it's meant to be used, because our bodies are amazing, amazing. They work for us. They fight for us. And I want to be able to use it to my best ability. And I like sharing that kind of stuff. So thank you for saying that. Because sometimes I don't feel good about sharing stuff like that. But hopefully, and it makes me feel good that you felt good about it. Because that's what I'm doing. I want to show people that you can live your life and be happy and move your body and do the things that you want to do and stuff. First of all, I love talking to you. Thank you for being here. So tell us again, how long you've been on the medication again?
So I started the medication. I got my referral to the endo October of 2024. I had my first appointment in February and I started the medication in 2025 and I started the medication March. It's so funny, March 3rd. Isn't that weird? You remember the day.
Oh,
March
absolutely.
3rd. Yeah, March 3rd, 2025 was my first. And I started on the 2.5 of the Z.
That's so awesome. So, with your family dynamics, I don't know if everyone's still around or whatever with your siblings. Um, you said everyone is somewhat overweight except for the banging body sister,
Yeah.
who has been super supportive. Have you guys chatted? Have you talked? Do you communicate? Do you let people
Oh
know?
yeah. Oh no. Yeah. So we're super close. We all live within 2 hours driving distance. We're old school like that because our parents were super, super tight with our parents. So I live 10 minutes away from my mom and dad, and I help take care of them. And my sister lives only 20 minutes away from me, the one that's my super support. And then my other two sisters live 2 hours away in the state capital in California, SAC area.
Yeah.
And then my brother lives in Santa Clara. We don't see my brother as much just because he's the only boy and he doesn't do as much, typical, and the older brother. So he like waltzes in and out with like, but we're all super close. And then I'm one of five, and then my parents have 9 grandkids. So I have 3 kids of my own, AJ,
Okay.
on top of my job and my wife duties and my lawyer duties.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have 3 children. And so we always talk about it. And my two sisters, they're super proud of me. And actually, both of them have considered maybe doing it. One of my sisters, I think, might have tried it and had some negative side effects and kind of didn't want to ride the wave. I have to say, AJ, and again, knock on wood, because I'm about to go up to the 12.5. I think I told you in July just to kind of finish. Um, I haven't had that many bad side effects, but I've also done all the good things, eating the protein, super hydrated, making sure I'm very hydrated before I do my S day,
Yeah.
all those things, setting my S day for Saturday morning so that if I have an ill effect, I have that kind of 48 hours before I go back to work. I've really listened to a lot of the things that I've heard
Mhm.
on your lives and with Jamie, like just about like little tips and tricks to make sure that I
Yeah.
knew what, try to maximize, the effectiveness, but also, try to minimize any negative impact.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're setting yourself up for success, so I'm sure you'll be fine. So your brother, is he into this? Is he like, oh, I'm not doing like what's his thoughts?
He is overweight, but then actually, unfortunately, he had a stroke a couple of years ago, which actually helped him be healthier. So right now, currently, he's
Mhm.
in pretty good, other than the kind of manifestations of his stroke, he has had okay uh, ability to keep off some of the weight, but that's just because he had to get healthy for the stroke. But he's just super proud of me that I lost so much weight because he's always been kind of me and him have been really close. We're 10 years apart, but my brother's first name is Dilip and EJ because we look a lot alike. And I used to like follow him around, and people used to think he was younger. We
Yeah.
look so alike. So he was like, I would bring me to college with him because it all goes campus, right? And they're like, "Is that your kid?" And he's like, "No, it's my little sister." So we're really close, and he's just super proud of me. He's always been just he's just a lovable guy, but he, I think he never really was impacted about the weight stuff. My dad never got on him
Mm.
about weight. Again, the cultural. He
Yeah.
could do no wrong, and my dad was just much more critical of us as
And I
girls.
think for a guy, you can have a little weight and nobody really thinks anything of it.
Yeah, I definitely feel that, AJ. I definitely feel like there's a little bit of kind
Hmm.
of gender bias when it comes to the expectations of women's vanity versus men.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, this is so cool. I'm so glad you came up. Now, in your own experience, your expertise, what do you say to somebody who says, "Gosh, Ronnie, I don't know about these medications. Should I do it? Should I not? I've heard all these side effects or whatever." What are you going to tell them?
I tell a lot of people that I really think that they should do what they believe, but then I ask them this question. What do you think is going to happen if you don't?
Mhm.
How is your health going to be in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years? If you think the weight is going to impact you negatively in other aspects of your life, I really think you should consider it. So I
Mhm.
kind of I want them to future cast if that makes sense for themselves because I can tell you what you do now to prevent health scares and health emergencies is going to pay tenfold. And weight is one of the number one contributors to secondary disease in this country, whether it is
Absolutely.
diabetes, heart disease, cancer. It has been linked to so many other illnesses.
It's interesting you say that because the visceral fat is the issue here. That visceral fat is like its own organ. And when it releases it properly with the insulin, it really causes all sorts of other things to happen, cancers and everything. That visceral fat is a huge, huge deal that needs to be taken care of. So I agree with you. Being overweight causes, being morbidly obese causes so many underlying things that people just don't realize, right? And it's important. I agree with you. I mean, in my case, I've always been like a fighter of trying to figure out what I needed to do, and I was desperate. And I, like you've heard, I've done the FinFin and the HCG and the lab band and the gastric sleeve. And I think for me, it's so clear that this is something that needs to be taken forever for me. And it's game changer. And I had no hesitancy to do it because I feel like I've done all the other things. I have people come in here all the time that made this may be their first thing that they're going to do to help themselves out. And so they're not sure. They don't know if they want to stay on it. They don't know what they want to do because they haven't maybe hit that rock bottom yet or have tried all the things. But for me, it's always been super clear like, this is something I'm going to do. This is something I'm going to try. But I think people have to kind of get there on their own. And we can tell them, like you do, we can tell them, our thoughts and what we know, but you really ultimately have to decide for yourself. Um, so you
I
have to be
also,
patient with
yeah,
people.
I also wanted to just say one interesting thing, AJ, that I think is also really good that you talk about on your lives. I've gotten this question, actually been invited to a couple of lives. I haven't done it yet, but and I'm happy to do it at a later date if you ever want to talk about it. Navigating the insurance versus the non-insurance, because I know that that's a huge fight and a huge deterrent for people. So number one, I really think I know that your primary purpose is not providing a outlet to order, but I know that you do get it through a very reputable brand. So I think that's super great for you to
Mhm.
be able to tell people about
Yeah.
that because that's the other scary part. So as a lawyer, right? I always think liability. We're selling compounds or whatever versus the real stuff. And you don't know anything about really what's in any of this. You're putting it in your body and you're relying on it. But I think twofold. I was blessed that I fought the insurance and won. So
Mm.
I am covered, but I was not covered initially. So I've
Yeah.
gotten lots of questions about that in the rooms that I sit in and listen in. So we could talk more about that offline, but I'm happy to answer questions for you, if you ever want to share that about some ways and navigation tools depending. But the second thing is, it's scary also to go to these different brands. So the fact that you know of a good,
Mhm.
reputable place and something you said this week that I hung on very closely, a comment you made, which I thought was amazing and very telling. You said, a lot of people are afraid of the cost or spending cost, but how much are you saving in eating food
Yeah.
or eating out? Or why can't this be part of your budget? You budget for all kinds of things. You're not going without PG&E. You're not going out without your cell phone. You're not going without gas in your car. Why
I'm
is
getting a
your health?
pedicure every six
Yeah,
weeks, kids.
yeah. Why
Yeah.
why is this not at the top of your budget?
Absolutely.
How are you okay with budgeting that other crap and your health, which is keeping you on this earth, is not a primary driver of your budget? I mean, sometimes you got to hear it, But AJ, it was like mind blow. It was when you said that, I was like, this is so simple and so mic drop at the same time. It was wild because I just was like, you know how much Starbucks costs? You know how much freaking a Dunkin' coffee and then whatever. I mean, make your coffee at home, ladies and gentlemen. Buy
Mhm.
a mug. Like, what are you doing? And so when I was paying out of pocket $500 a month, I was like, maybe the hair is getting colored at home. And I know you do hair. I was like, and I've been going to my hairdresser for 30 years, AJ. I'm one of
Yeah.
those. I'm a real one. I'm
Yeah.
a real one. She did my wedding hair. She still does my hair. And I'm in a different city than her. I drive to her. So I'm like one of
Yep.
those loyal day ones. But I was like, there's got to be other places. If I got to eat beans and rice, like we got to get this in the budget. And so I paid over $3,000 in 6 months to be on this med without insurance. That's what I'm saying. And I mean, yes, I'm a lawyer, but I'm a government lawyer. So don't think I'm living like suits, driving a Porsche. That ain't happening. I mean, like I'm like a real lawyer. I'm like down in the dirt. So I'm saying, I just think people don't think about it. We make excuses when it comes to our health, and I don't understand why.
Yeah.
I really don't understand why.
It's so true. I need to get to that core level of understanding that. And it's so complex. I don't know if we ever will get down to that core level of understanding it, but I think it's just because it's scary. And I also feel like because we failed so much, maybe, that it's like, do I really want to spend all this money on to fail again?
Totally. Oh my God.
You know?
That's so true, JJ. So true. And also,
And
you're like, and then I spent all this money and I didn't do it again, right? Like, oh, this
because
is
who
like,
has spent money on a bike at the house or a treadmill that now is a coat closet, a coat hanger? I did.
I had, I had one of those. I had a Versa climber. I Versa'd once, and then it became my coat rack. The Versa wasn't versing. Yeah, it wasn't happening.
And you really just have to want to, like, I've always been like, fen, let's do it. That's my mind. That was just me. Like, I'm
Yeah.
desperate. I've always been desperate. I had a heavy set dad. I knew even at a young age that this was kind of be my trajectory in life. And I was a fighter and I was always liked to be active. And I knew that I needed extra help, even though I didn't know it was a disease for a long time. And so I was
Okay,
like, let's
really
do this.
quickly, AJ, I
Yeah.
have to tell you,
Yeah.
there is an amazing couple here on your live that found me because I never go live. It's Hunt and Cass, and they are guts and glory. And I just have to tell you, Hunt is doing it right. They live in Colorado and they're living healthy and trying to have people have healthy living. And I bet you they saw that I'm live because I never go live and I tell them, and they freaking found me in your chat.
They're like, what
They
are
ju-
you doing?
they're like, and they said, lawyer mom, because I'm telling you, AJ, you are sending not only good vibes and good information, you're making people feel proud of doing the work. I just want you to know that.
Thank you.
You are, I'm sure you hear it in different forms, but what you're doing is super impactful.
Wow,
Super impactful.
that's very sweet. Is it the Hunt and Cass? And then was there someone else
Yeah.
who said?
No, Hunt and Cass is
Okay.
their private account, but Guts and Glory is their like mega account where they have like
Well,
fun lives. I mean, it's just funny because he is someone with a chronic illness. So
okay.
he is now living healthy through food. And there's
Love it.
lots of people who have different chronic illness, and they have shared kind of in my weight loss. I'm one of their regular. I'm alive for entertainment. You know how they say there's different buckets on TT? There's monetization, there's
Yeah.
TikTok. I'm for entertainment while I get the motivation. And another thing, AJ, is guess what the weight loss did? I'll tell you the most impactful thing.
Okay.
I'm writing the book that everyone has been telling me to write for the
Aw.
last 10 years. So I did a very big major case 10 years ago on human trafficking. And
Yeah.
it became like a California news feed case. And I think I wasn't confident
Mm.
because of the weight. And
Hmm.
so losing the weight and coming back on TikTok and seeing all of you guys and all your successes in different ways, it made me finally say, I'm going to do it. And so I just started the book a few weeks ago and I'm already on chapter 2 and I'm giving myself 6 months to finish the book.
Ah,
So it's
so
about one of the
exciting.
biggest case. Yeah, so it's one of the biggest cases I ever tried. So, and I'm telling you, I think the weight held me back
Mhm.
from doing it.
So
So it,
much. Yeah.
so that's why don't ever apologize for going to Scotland. Don't ever apologize for walking out the door. Don't ever apologize for your fabulous tops and your fantastic glasses. You earned every bit of this. You
Oh,
earned it through sweat and through time and through effort and through fabulousness. Don't ever, ever, ever not do everything thing that you want to and celebrate it with us because I love it. I love watching you. I love supporting people like you. This is why I'm on this app.
thank you. You're so amazing, guys. Please let us know when you get published because we're gonna get that book. I want a
Yeah.
signature from you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, AJ, yours is going to have some funny stuff and I'm going to put like a picture of glass. I got to do something. I got to do something fabulous for you.
Yeah, please. Maybe on that back cover, say something about AJ. I'm just kidding.
I
Jokes.
might, hey,
Jokes.
oh, now you're giving me an idea. But maybe I'll buy a brand new pair of glasses just for like the picture of me. I don't get them and they'll look like AJ.
Do it. That's so funny. I
But I'm
love it.
saying keep on inspiring people, AJ. It does have impact. You really are having impact.
That's very sweet. Thank you for saying that. And I can't do this without any of you guys. Like the fact that you come on here and share your story helps me. Like you guys have to remember, like you guys help me be a better person too. Like if I'm coming on here and you're not here, it affects me as well. So thank you guys for being here. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Oh, I think Rebecca just had one question. How are the health of my kids?
That's
I
the other thing
actually,
I was going to say because you got 9 grandbabies, not you, but as
yeah,
a
my
whole.
family, yes.
So how are
Um,
those kids doing? Do you see anything when it comes to like how you guys react and teach and whatever? Do you find that you slip into like your old like because I slip into my mom and dad sometimes. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, right? So how does that work with you guys?
so my son is relatively has no food issues. My other daughter, my older daughter, was an athlete and just was blessed with a different a different genetic makeup as I and my husband is actually significantly overweight also, AJ, and he is
Hmm.
on GLP-1. He
Okay,
has not had as much success. He is a slow responder, but he has not told me one negative thing about it. And he says, "Oh my God, at least there's no food noise."
right.
So, but I also feel like he's one of those guys who does like 50%. Like if he worked out a little more, if he drank a little water. That's the other thing. It's a tool. It's not a solution. It's a tool in your tool belt of health.
Yeah.
It's a great tool. It's an active tool. It's a game changer, but it's not going to make you wake up one day 100 pounds less if you don't do any of the other. It's not like poof. It's
Yeah.
not a fairy godmother. It's a tool.
Right. Right.
So one of my daughters was significantly overweight. She was bullied in middle school. She's in high school now. I got her a dietitian, a therapist, and we were able to work through it. She is now 60 pounds down.
Oh,
So I
nice.
am trying to break the cycle. But she even said to me recently, she's so happy. She had ninth grade was amazing for her with this new body and this new life. And I'm just keeping her super active in sports and
Mhm.
trying to change that cycle.
Mhm.
She still has aspects of that kind of desperate eating, like when she's in a bad mood or
Yeah.
the emotional, or it's that time of the month, or, all the things that girls deal with. But she also has to deal with social media. And so I know how it feels. But can I just tell you, the other day we went to a store, the LL, the girls love the LL and the low, and she fit into a size small and she was a size 16. And she was like, and she doesn't have no ED, inappropriate. She's complete. And you'll laugh, AJ. My husband's 5'3", I'm 5'2", and she's 5'8". So
Shut
she's got, I
up.
know. And it's funny, everywhere we go, they go, your parents are so cute. Like we're little people. I mean, it's so fun.
How
So she
the
definitely got
hell
that.
did she get 5'8"?
Because my
Excuse
brother,
me.
I know, I'm so mad. I'm so angry. Well, my brother's 6'2", and I have one sister who's 5'10". She was a college volleyball player. So we have height in my family, but it totally skipped us. But so she's got that height on her side. But you know what I thought the other day, AJ, when she put on that small and she was almost crying in joy? I thought, I broke the cycle. I helped her not have a lifelong, you know, fight with weight. She's going to have a fight to stay healthy, but I'm helping her see her true health potential at a young age.
Mm.
And a couple times she said, Mommy, why did you always buy me whatever I wanted? Mommy, why did you always get me that boba? Why didn't you stop me? And I said, Sweetie Pie, because you wanted it and I wanted to make you happy. And she goes, Mommy, other things can make you happy, not just food.
Oh,
So getting her a nutritionist, getting
ah,
her a health coach, getting her in sports. And let me tell you, she's in basketball and volleyball, AJ, and I have to travel all over. She's on a traveling team and
mhm.
I'm exhausted. But what do?
You
I
do
put
it.
apples in my purse. I put almonds in my purse. I put my Bearbell in my purse. I put my Built Bar, right? I'm prepared and
Mhm.
I pack her healthy snacks so that she's not getting the chicken fingers and the fries at the concession stand. So it's helping me raise her in a better way, but I'm giving her the tools now so that she can combat. My parents didn't know any of this, AJ. They weren't going to get me a freaking nutritionist or
No.
like buy me, and they weren't going to make me special meals that are air. You're eating what we're eating. My daughter, I can make her a high protein veggie meal. She doesn't need to eat what I'm eating if I'm eating something else. Like I'm going to make her what's going to feed her body and fuel her as an athlete. And my parents were like, "You're going to eat what you get what you get, and you
Yeah.
don't get upset." That old saying.
So I think it's so awesome that you have these resources for her. This could go in an opposite direction. So tell me how this worked for you in the positive way, right? Because here you have a kid that's struggling. It's all about like how you say it, what you say. So you could say to some kid, well, I'm going to get you this therapist and this, and they could be like, no, like that's embarrassing. Like I don't need that kind of help. Like how did you navigate that so that it was a good, successful, happy moment?
So one thing, I got her a nutritionist, and I'll have to tell you, it was in the height of her bullying. She was getting bullied at middle school. And let me tell you, she was a very popular kid. It wasn't
Mm,
like a kid in the corner. She was in theater, she played sports, but she was just a bigger girl. And
mhm,
she was taller. So being bigger and taller in middle
mhm.
school, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. Luckily, I was very involved in the school, so I kind of knew what was going on, but not to that extent. But I'll tell you one very sad story. Um, we were in the car driving to the nutritionist, and she had been bullied that day, and she didn't tell me. She didn't tell me what happened. I didn't know, and we were on the way to nutrition, and she wouldn't get out of the car. She goes, "I'm not going. I don't feel like going." And I
Mhm.
said, "Why?" And she said, "I'm not going to go." And I said, "Sweetheart, we need to go. We have the appointment. We're going to." She started kicking my chair. We were sitting in the parking lot, and she just had a complete meltdown. And I mean, I used to joke and unknowingly, I kind of was like, that's not really nice. I used to say she was my baby Huey. I don't know if you remember baby Huey. He was like the big duck and very sweet. I didn't even know. I didn't even realize. Think about that, AJ. Think about what I was doing,
So kids
saying
are
that
smart and
I
they're
was
just,
saying it, I was saying it in a loving way, and that was completely a dig.
yeah,
This is my baby girl. Like I love her. She's my twin. Everyone says she's my twin, except she's 5'8". But she's my twin. We look alike. My other daughter looks completely Irish, like my husband, who's an Irish,
yeah.
Irish kid, and I'm Indian. And so she was kicking my chair, and I said, "You've got to go. You've got to go." Somehow I got her in that room, and I would sit in her dietitian appointments with her because she didn't want to be alone because she always felt like I was her blanket. So I would have to hear this. And she broke down to the dietitian that she was in science class and somebody said, "Watch out. She's going to take up the whole table." There was like an experiment that day. And
Hmm.
that's why she didn't want to go because she knew that the dietitian would get it out of her because
Hmm.
she was such an amazing, woman and she had
Hmm.
that therapy base also,
Hmm.
and it just released so much. But that's why I knew I had to do more for her because she was struggling.
Yeah.
And so I did not give up. And that was a seventh, eighth, nine. It was a 2.5 year process to get her to where we are.
And I love that it wasn't easy peasy. She struggled. It was
Ugh,
hard, but
it
it
was
was so
horrible.
worth it.
I just didn't want her. It killed me, AJ.
Hmm.
It really
Yeah.
broke my heart. I didn't want
Hmm.
her to go through all the things I went through.
Mm-mm.
Do you know that one time my banging body sister had to beat somebody up at school at the reservoir? I don't want to sound like the outsiders, but we had a public school. We went to Lincoln High. It was like a public school, kind of rough. And somebody called me Shamu getting off the 771 bus.
Oh
And my sister heard it and she kicked that kid's ass. She got suspended for me. She said, nobody's going to call my little sister Shamu. But that stuck with me. Those are the kind of stories that people don't talk about.
yeah.
That's the trauma. Those are the laughs that you get, or you go to all you can eat and everyone's like, of course you're here. You know, if I was a skinny chick with,
Nobody cares.
36D and a 24 waist, I could eat up the whole thing. They'd be
And
like,
they'd
damn, she got,
and
yeah.
they'd watch you and they'd
Yeah.
applaud you.
Yeah. But when, having me walk in, it's like, oh, we better limit her to 2 hours, whatever. I mean, it's just, so I have to say, I think that's also too why when my sister, who's the nurse, she's the same one, told me do it, I was like, she's always had my back. There's never been jealousy with me and her. That's the one interesting thing. But I think it's because she loved me so much. We're like Irish twins, but we're Indian twins. We're only 1 year apart.
Right.
The old saying. But
Yeah.
she's my best friend. And also I think my humor, AJ, that's one thing I love about you. You're very humorous. You got a great, I think being fat sometimes comes along with being funny. And so I've always built up my personality. And I think that's what made me a great trial lawyer too.
Yeah.
But I had to get up in front of juries for 22 years, Heavy.
Oof.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Isn't that interesting? Because they look at you different in your profession, don't they? They just do when you're heavy. You're not smart enough. You're not going to be able to handle this.
And so you know how I did it, Heavy? I kind of came in like the mama bear.
Yep.
Like I almost had to put on the persona because if I was going to be heavy, I had to come across it in a different way. I had to figure out a different way to convince these jurors because I couldn't come in there looking like fly like suits, like Meghan Markle with a fly pinstripe suit, right? Like that wasn't happening. I was the fat lawyer, so I had to come in and with some, kind of like a Joe Pesci and My Cousin Vinny, but girl style, right? I mean, you got to figure it out. You got to
make it work. You got to, yeah. Oh God. And that alone is a whole other thing that we could go spiral down into because that's not healthy either. We don't.
No, but now I can be myself and still be funny. Yeah. But be myself and still be funny.
That's right. Badass, hot lawyer mom.
With the bedhead, but it's okay for you. I'll get on.
Listen, lawyer mom, little do you guys know, I go to bed like this. I wake up. I'm in my bed right now.
Yeah, I love it.
I go to bed. I wake up. I press play, and my hair in the back is all like this. Okay, you don't know that. You don't know I don't have pants on. I don't have pants on. Listen, we fake it to make it around here. Just kidding. I have pants on.
Yeah.
But no, it is so complex, and I'm so happy that I had you on. I'm so glad you came up. I'm so glad I could see you and hear you and know you better. And I know everyone in the chat does well. I think we've all become best friends with Ronnie today.
Yeah. But I thank you, AJ. Thanks for having these spaces towards the end of your lives. Like I've seen a lot of people come up, and I have to say I wasn't necessarily brave enough sometimes to say when you're saying is anybody. And I thought, why not? Why not do it today? Because I don't do lives. I don't engage in that way. Like I really believe in genuine, impactful, serious conversations.
Yeah.
I love TikTok for entertainment. I watch those silly battles and all that. I think it's funny. Go TT. I got friends who are lawyers at TT. Like they were former prosecutors with me. I love me some TT, but this is great for so many people. And it's international. It's global.
Yeah.
You can connect on a way that has never been seen before.
It's crazy.
It's pretty fantastic.
There's a few of us that do these, interviews and stuff, and each have our own spin and our take and what we want to get out of it. And for me, honestly, I want to talk about the deep things, but I want to keep it in a positive light, an encouraging light, where we don't focus on the negative, but we focus on the positive. And that's what I try to do here. So it's not always, deep and emotional.
Yeah.
It can get that way, but I want to keep it uplifting and positive. That's the kind of spin I like to do when I talk with people.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind
But
of like.
deep and emotional can be positive
Sure.
because
Yeah,
you're getting to the other side
absolutely.
and you're
Yeah.
showing the triumph after a lot of adversity.
Yeah. And
And
I think
it's ups and downs. It's ups and downs,
it
AJ.
is.
You say it all the time. You
Yeah.
talk about it, and you're so good with the advice because some people come on your lives and they put in the chat, and I'm an active listener, so I'm reading all the chat, and it makes me sad sometimes,
Yeah.
right? It makes me sad sometimes when I see somebody who's like, it's been 4 months and I haven't, and then you give the encouraging word like, just keep on going. It's okay. Don't
Hmm.
worry, because I think also people, again, they think it's a miracle drug.
Yeah.
And it is. It's a miracle in some aspects, but again, you have to let it work. You have to do to the work, and you have to embrace all the aspects of a healthy lifestyle,
Yeah.
not just the injection.
Well, and mindset first and foremost. And that's
Yeah.
why I try to keep things positive and I try to be uplifting and I try to change that negative narrative to the positive one. And even though we all are struggling and there's moments where it's despair, I try to lead it with, excitement and hope because that's, I think, what's really needed. And we can get all down in the dumps and get in our feels, and that's needed. And a lot of people do that in their lives. But I try to make sure that we lead with positivity because at the end of the day, that's the hardest because we're imperfect people and naturally we are negative. And I don't want to have that space in my space. I want to try to lead with positivity. So that's what I try to do. Any last thought? Anything that you want to say that wasn't covered?
I just want to say thank you
Mhm.
for holding this space for people because I was really very scared and quite frankly ashamed for a long time that I needed to use a GLP-1 and I didn't truly understand how many people out there. I mean, I always knew people had weight issues, but
Mhm.
I never truly understand how people, how people would react to me and I've had to be at my job for the last year losing this weight. And at first, some people actually thought I was sick.
Mhm.
Thought I had like cancer. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are all kinds of things, right? But I feel very okay now with telling people,
Mhm.
because that some people do still assume, oh, it's the magic drug, or oh, it's the no. You're not getting your ass up at 4:30 in the morning and working out every day. That was me.
Yeah.
I'm on day 137 of every single day, 4:30 in the morning. And I'm on day 120 of meditation every morning. So I'm lawyer mom. I only got one speed, AJ. It's overdrive or it's zero. I'm in trial
Can you
mode. I'm
put,
treating
can
this
you,
like a trial.
you're good at changing your name. Let's do it one more time. Badass lawyer mom.
Mom, I don't know if I'm gonna change. I'm so scared to go back on TV. But did you notice I added the little scales of justice and a little judge emoji. Yeah. But no, yeah. But I'm just saying, it's like for me, AJ, when I embrace something, it's like on.
Yeah,
On like Donkey Kong, as we
that's
like to
right.
say it, as Gen Xers.
Oh my God. Well, thank you. I unfortunately have to go. I have been on for 3 hours.
That's awesome. Good
I'm so
job.
glad you came on. Am I okay to put this on YouTube?
Yeah, totally. I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anytime I interview people, if it's okay, I put it on
Yeah.
the long
I
form
don't
on there
mind.
because people are there that see these interviews
Yeah.
that know all of that. Yeah, that see it.
Yeah.
So
That's
awesome.
totally fine. And I'm in the paper in my work as lawyer mom, so I think it's pretty easy for me to people to see. Yeah, they know who I am.
Okay.
It's not hard to find out who I really am. I'm not one of those. I didn't put lawyer mom so I could live in the shadows.
Okay.
It is what it is. Yeah.
That's so funny. I love it. Well, thank you so, so much for coming here and talking and sharing your story because it's awesome. I appreciate
Okay.
that.
Have a great day. I'm gonna go. Bye bye, everyone.
All right. Bye bye.